y'all. Hey, welcome to another episode of Shana Speaks Life. I am so geeked to have you here joining me today with my special guest, Miss LaTosha. Hey, girl. Yes, so LaTosha is joining me today. She is an amazing life coach, and I would get into all the other things she does, but then I wouldn't have questions to ask her. So we're going to dive into these questions right away, and let's see what we can learn about LaTosha and all the great things she has going on in her life. So today we're going to be talking about empowering ourselves to go forward with our goals and our visions that we have for ourselves. So, can you tell me a bit about your journey and what led you to becoming a life coach?
Well, in the past, I went through so many things that I felt that I didn't have a guide for. Growing up, I got involved in some things that I felt that if I had like a mentor or someone I can talk to that could lead me in the direction that I wanted to go through. Actually, um, the lifestyle that I wanted to live, right? And since I didn't have that, that was one of the things that drove me to want to help somebody in their journey. You know, as I got older, I realized the things that I went through, I could have helped somebody, right? You can go if I don't care if you got 2 or 3 steps ahead, you can help somebody else with those 2 or 3 steps. So that was the thing that drove me, my past and the things that I had to go through that if I had somebody there to help, um, I wouldn't have went through what I went through at the extent that I went through it, rather.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate to that. I feel like that's my why as well. And I think with a lot
Yeah.
of life coaches, that is kind of like our own personal experiences as well as the the mentorship or the guidance that we were lacking that now we want to provide to other people. So I think that's really amazing. So, how did you navigate the transition from simply having an idea of wanting to become a life coach and then actually making it happen?
Well, I wanted to make sure that's something I actually wanted to do. Like I know that um I what lane I wanted to go down to do it, right? I know I wanted to help people. I know I wanted to come alongside people and help them pretty much. I said get out of God's way. I think that every God has a plan for everybody and I want them to be used the way God intended. You know, you don't want them to be using a hammer and when you're supposed to be using a screwdriver. And I looked at it that way. So to me, it was just like, how did I want to help? Right? Did I want to do, discipleship? Did I want to actually help them like mental health? Did I want to try to help in marriages? How did I want the coaching to be? Right? So when I figured out what, how did I want to actually help someone? I decided to go to school for psychology, right? Because I knew that I wanted to help somebody personally, right? And then as I began to go to school with that, some things transpired in that, and which caused me to look towards coaching. I felt that it's some people that have figured out what they wanted to do, just don't know how to do it. That they didn't necessarily need to be healed or walk with 2 or 3 or 4 years. That it was just that they knew what they wanted to do. They just didn't know how to put it together. And so I know sometimes that I could see that in people and I can cultivate that and help them get to where they wanted to be, you know. And so that's when I realized this was the niche for me. Like this is the way I'm supposed to go. But I had to go through all the other steps first so that I knew for a fact I would do this if even if I didn't get paid for it, that this is what God put me here to do.
I love that part. You said whether you get paid for it or not, it's what you know God has called you to. And I think that's the important part. That's when you know that it's more than just, it's not about a paycheck. It's not, oh, this is just something I want to do in this season, but being intentional and knowing like, this is my purpose. My purpose is to plant seeds and to be an impact and to help people then walk in their purpose that God has for their life. And so I think that's really important to acknowledge that part, right? Because so many times people do things And unfortunately, it is just for the money, or it's just a seasonal thought for them because they just want to see if it's fun. But you know that your impact is great. And so you are being intentional about how you're going about it. So that's what's up. That's what's up.
Intentional on purpose. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I know that our audience may not know is not only are you a life coach, but you've also taken that and turned it into another piece of a brand where you are now having a live podcast on Facebook on Sundays. Why don't you tell us more about that?
Well, that that conspired because I talked to a lot of people. Oh my goodness, throughout the week, and people would say, "I'm writing this down," or "I wish the other people can hear this conversation." And that's how I got started. I heard that so much that I wanted to bring the conversations um, so that everybody can hear.
Awesome.
It was a time when people were calling me 4 or 5 times a week, right? So I said, take this, and some of the people that I spoke with, but I also wanted to have someone different so that people in the audience and people that were watching can identify, with the person that they're listening to. And we were taking everyday conversations and we were compiling them into topics, and then it went from there to people writing in, and so I started from there taking in letters, and we would go over the letters and then we would discuss them. So it was birthed out of everyday conversations that people felt that out of this conversation I was able to tell them, and I was able to tell them, and I was using things out of our conversation. So that's where it birthed out of, and then so that's why we come up with the conversationalist. And that's on Sundays at 6:30 on our page, the Conversationalist page.
I love that. Yeah, so 6:30 Central Time, right?
Central Time, 6:30. And we also have Wednesdays now. It's an open topic Wednesday, so we're just talking about everything. So be sure to catch that too on 6:30 on Wednesdays on the
I
Conversationalist page.
I love that. So make sure if you are watching, I'll have the information for you at the bottom of the screen. If you are tuning in via audio, check the information at the bottom of the description, and I'll be sure to leave that plug for you so you can go check her out on the conversationalist on Wednesdays and
Yes.
Sundays. I love that. That is amazing. Growth, that is a good sign. That is definitely a good sign.
Yes,
Yes.
bro.
So now we're hearing about it coming into fruition and what it looks like now. So let's talk about what some of those challenges were that you faced when starting your podcast and how did you push through those challenges?
Um, just the dedication, having time to make sure that you can be dedicated to it. I noticed that it seems like when you start something, everything happens, right? And before you get started, everything is smooth, everything is peaceful, and you're thinking this is a great time to start. I don't have anything going on, nothing is nothing is going on right now. I have the time. But as soon as you decide to go for it, as soon as God gives you the go ahead, of course, every battle, every trial, every stumbling block comes your way. So I had to just center myself and remember why I'm doing it, right? That I'm sacrificing hour or hour and a half of my time to help people, right? To make an impact with people. So when I realized what the goal was and that I was actually helping people, it was about me and others. Then I tried to eliminate some of the things that were coming to being stumbling blocks, right? I started just like finishing things, like if something happens, how can I move this around? Pre getting ready for things. You don't know everything that's coming your way, but to have an idea, if I run into this, this is a solution, right? So that's some of the things. Of course, we still run into things that we can't stop, but for the most part, keep pushing. I just kept pushing, finding solutions, and that was the main thing: looking for solutions and not harping over what the problem is.
Right, because we both know, like, even in talking with our clients, if we focus on the issue, if we just dwell on what's not going right, we'll less likely move forward, right? Because we're so discouraged of all the things that are going wrong. Like, even today, in us
Yes, yes,
recording this session, there were so many issues, right? But we are resilient women,
yes,
and we were like,
yes,
see, the devil is a lie. We're going to get this done, okay? We're going to get it done today. You know what I mean?
yes,
So, this is a prime example that it doesn't matter how successful you are, how far along you are in the journey of bringing your dreams to life, even when they are up and running, life happens, things
yes,
happen, and you
yes,
have
yes.
to roll with the punches. You got to figure it out as you go sometimes, because, like you said, you can't prepare for everything, right?
Can't protect everything.
So, when you think about it, what has been the most empowering part of your journey so far, whether it's as a life coach or with the podcast or both? But what's been the most empowering part for you?
Um, I guess both. To me, it's both. Because even with me talking, I pretty much talked on a lower scale, like what individuals, things like that. But when it got on a bigger scale, where I'm going different places and talking, or um, online talking, it empowered me to know that my story counts, right? By knowing that even though I went through something that was traumatic, even though I had problems in the past, that life can change. So me having that testimony and knowing that my mess ups can help somebody else, that empowered me to over my past. So I think that that gave me power over my past. So that would empower me, them both together. I think is a reason for that.
I like that. That's that's good, right? Like, you
Yeah.
see the empowerment moments out of both experiences that you've had so far. So that's really good. So, how do you define success?
Oh my.
Right? Loaded question.
All right, it's definitely a loaded question, because even when you think you found success in something, there's always going to be something else. So it's almost like perfection. You're always constantly growing, because you're growing. It's going to be another goal. It's going to be another thing that you have to, uh, you know, try to obtain. You're constantly obtaining higher and higher goals. You're constantly growing. So to me, success is lining up with who God intended for you to be. I believe that I was sent here to be someone who God wanted me to be, right? So it was already pre-planned, right? It was already pre-planned. So if I'm successfully on the road to where God wants me to be, then I'm successful. If He said this is LaTosha and this is who I intended for her to be, this is what I wanted her to look like, act like, I wanted her to be successful in this. I think as long as I'm on the road to that, as long as I'm pointing in that direction, then that's success for me.
I think so many people define success based on material things, right? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
if I get this 5 bedroom house, if I get this Bentley, or, if I have X amount of dollars in the bank, this is when I know I am successful. And it's like, to
Hmm.
me,
Hmm.
that's small thinking. That's like minimizing
Yes.
what success really is if you quantify it based on the material things that you have, right? And because, like, for me, success is impact. Like, if I see that the people that I work with are like not thriving but striving. I'm sorry, not striving. I don't want them striving. I don't want them striving. I want them thriving, girl. Get it together, Shana. Get it together. But I want them thriving. I want them to have true joy in their heart because they are doing something that they're passionate about and that they're called to. And so, to get people to see past the money and past the material things, sometimes it's like a hurdle to get over. It's like, no, society tells us that that's how we define success. But how do you personally, in your heart of hearts, really dig deep into figuring out what success looks like for you, right? And, Mike Tyson just recently had a fight or something. I don't I don't know. But he had something recently, right? And prior to that, he was being interviewed by a young lady, and she asked him what legacy did he want to leave? And he said legacy is another word for ego. And I never looked at it like that. And I was like, I'm still struggling to look at it like that. I understood why he said that, but for
Yeah.
me, I'm curious, what does legacy mean to you? And do you agree with him that it's a little bit of an ego thing? Or, what are your thoughts on legacy?
Well, when I heard him, it straight out the Bible. He said, "I'll die, I die. We all gonna
Yeah.
go back to the dirt." It's like that's
Verbatim. I swear.
yeah, that's what I instantly thought of. I was like, he's over here that's like almost spitting scriptures people don't understand.
Yep.
But I understand what he means ego, because what he's saying is that even though I'm dead, you want everybody in your life to still live up to your
Mm.
dream, right? So instead of allowing them to have their dream, okay, I dream for this company to be big. I dream for us to make billions of dollars. Or I dream for this coffee shop. I dream that this coffee shop will never leave. They'll be here for the next 20 years. They'll be able to come. I want this Airbnb to always be here. If they marry 15 years, I want them to be able to come back here every 15 years. So you're gone and you've passed away, but you want your family to keep your dream alive.
Mm.
But is that to neglect their dream just so your dream can continue to live? So and some I understood what he said prior before
Right.
he
You said
said
before he
it.
said
So
it.
I
I knew.
understood that. Yeah.
I knew.
Yeah. So when he said it, it's just that everybody has their own take
Yeah.
on that. He just had after that, since he didn't believe that he would live on in Christ Jesus, of course the ending part was that was
Right.
different for me because I will continue to live on in Christ. So but far as my legacy, I do believe in if we're going to use the word legacy, I would want to make sure that I'm leaving right and wrong,
Mm.
right? I have right now, I just have a 13 grandchild. No, it doesn't look like it. I'm 40
Girl,
early. But
looks good.
but I want them. I don't want to put another, ninja out here or any other thing. I don't want. I want to be the one to say, okay, this is what right and wrong
Mhm.
is, right? I want to be able to instill foundation in them. Like, so if you give them the truth, you give them foundation, you make sure that they're loving them, you're giving them the practical things that they can apply now, even to their 40 and to their 60. To me, that's the legacy because they can't pick your life. God already planned for you to be somebody. And I don't want to come up against God for your life, right? I can't tell you that I want you to live my life and then God wants you to live his. That's a fight you
Mhm.
don't want, right? But I do want to make sure that I'm providing you with the tools that you're making right decisions, that you're going to be a good child now, but you're going to be a good husband then, right? You're going to be a good sister now, but you're going to be a good wife then. So that's pretty much my legacy. The people that came from my seed,
Mhm.
making sure that I'm being a responsible for that I was entrusted to them. And if it wasn't for me bringing their mom here or their dad here, then there wouldn't be those particular grandchildren or those great grandchildren. Just making sure that I'm educating my seed in a way that they will have a name for themselves in the
Mhm.
earth. And I believe that's pretty much what my legacy stands for.
Well, two snaps and a clap because okay, listen, do you hear me? No, because that's real, right? I think to your point, you have parents and grandparents who build this company and they're like, you're going to come work for me and you're going to learn this business and this is going to be your business, and or I'm a doctor, you're going to be a doctor, I'm a lawyer, you're going to be a lawyer, and our young people follow in the footsteps because that's what they have been trained to do, even though their heart is crying out to do what they're purposed for, right? And so for you to say, taking basically like taking what I did out of the equation. Did I teach you right from wrong? Did you pass it down to your kids? And are they you gonna make sure they
Yeah.
pass it down to their kids? Can we do that? That's legacy. Do you hear me? Are you a good person? Okay. Do you love the Lord? like, just like
Mm,
like it's more
yeah.
of the general things. And again, it kind of leads back to not being about the material things that you leave behind, right? But what character are you passing
Yeah.
down? Like I literally had that conversation with my son the other day, and I said, I made a lot of bad decisions as a teenager and into my, adult life. I told him and I said, but whatever your life becomes, not based off of what I want you to do or who I want you to become, but based off of your assignment and the calling that's on your life, you live in that, I win. I win as a mom.
Yes,
Like I
yes,
was like,
yes.
whatever that journey looks like for you. When you, sir, thank you. Okay, Lord, you can take me. I'm good now. Like that to me is it. That
Yeah.
that is my why. So that he can have his why.
Yeah.
So that's real. But yes, girl, when Tyson said that, I said, everybody not gonna like what he just said about legacy. Everybody ain't gonna like that, honey.
Oh,
That's topic of discussion.
and I knew it. Yes, I knew it. And it's funny because that's something, just to think about it. People want their cars. They think about leaving their kids cars and places to stay and homes. My grandparents' house, that area was booming, right? When my grandfather moved there, nice area, that's where black people that had a little money got to stay there, and it was nice to them. But when your kids get grown, when he after he passed, that area wasn't good anymore. They was like, well, we really don't want it, like we really don't want to stay that area. So what if you did your whole life? I'm gonna pay off this house just to have this land. Somebody else has that land. Somebody else stays there. The house has been torn down. Somebody built something on top of it. So what you're really thinking is yours, and what you think is priceless. Cars get old, money gets spent, houses break down, right? Areas depreciate and loses value, but wisdom lives forever. Right? So that's a thing.
Girl, you better drop these nuggets.
So yeah, that wisdom, man, that's something that I just really want. Because you think about what if your grandparents sit with you and just poured wisdom into you? What what if your parents poured just good wisdom, like wisdom to where you can have whatever God intended and you can build on it and build your own house, build your own, like without it having been passed down, but because you appreciate it more. When people are given things, they don't appreciate it as
Don't
much,
take
right?
care.
But yeah, don't take care of it. So yeah,
Mm.
wisdom, yeah, wisdom.
I missed out on having grandparents. My grandparents were all passed away. But I know like just with peers and their relationships with their grandparents is like none other. Like, yeah, you got your parents, but like that grandparent, grandchild,
That, that grandparent, oh my goodness, that grandparent, yes,
listen,
I did not.
I was like, man, I would have lit. Man, ain't no telling. But I
Yes.
definitely see like that dynamic, and I feel like
Mhm.
that's a piece that's missing these days is that intergenerational relationship so that wisdom can be passed down and so the younger generation can receive, right? Because got to be open to receive it too. But I love how you shared that in the wisdom piece. That's legacy right there. That wisdom. You leave that wisdom behind. That's what you leave behind. Leave
Yes,
me that wisdom. I'll get the wealth. You leave the
yes,
wisdom. I need the
yeah.
wisdom to get to the wealth. Okay? Okay. I'm just saying.
Because that's what got you your wealth. Like the people that got their wisdom, you can make them poor and they can still, if they have that wisdom and that information, they can
Yep.
get back. Rich.
Yeah, because this,
Yeah.
with wisdom, there's a lot of different directions you can go with that. You learn more, you expand your learning. You're just
Yes.
everything about wisdom that is poured into you and those seeds. And then for you to also take your wisdom and now pass those seeds. Like let can that be the norm when we talk about legacy?
Yeah.
Okay. Pass these seeds.
Yes. Yes. And that should be. That should be because we complain about the kids coming up. They don't have sense. They don't have
Because they
home
don't have the
training.
wisdom.
My phone is
That's
saying
a
something. I
that's a
apologize.
that's okay. Hold on, stop, don't. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. You know, even in school when you get in trouble, you look at the parent, right? You go and you say, well, they didn't have any home training, or they wasn't taught, or their parents wasn't looking out for them. That still reflects when you're 30 and 40 years old. That reflects that you didn't have that wisdom, right? So yeah, so that still reflects. So yeah, I just wanted to go there. So that's, even though I didn't have it to give. Now, don't get me wrong. I, at my early age, I didn't have that type of wisdom to give in the lifestyle I lived. But wisdom can always be obtained.
Mhm.
You can start today. If your legacy wants to be wisdom, I don't care if your kids are 40 years old. I'm old enough. I'm still older, but I still can be poured into.
Yep,
I still can be educated. It's never too late. As long as you're still living, you still have a chance to change your legacy.
yep.
Right? So yeah.
And even understanding that wisdom can come from anyone. It doesn't have to be
Yes,
an elder,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Be,
Well, yes.
being open to know that my niece the other day poured some. I said, "Oh, you dropping nuggets at 5 a.m., ma'am? It's too early for these nuggets. Why are you on my line? Let me take these notes, though. Let me take these notes, right?
Yes. Since you give and let me get. Yeah.
I can receive these nuggets. Then go look out at 5 a.m. in the morning. Okay, tapping in. All right, all right. And just so y'all know, this is all still empowerment.
Yeah,
Wisdom
yeah.
is empowerment. Legacy is empowerment. So no, we didn't
It
go on a
is.
tangent and we didn't get off subject. Stay with us now. Stay with us. Stay
Yes.
connected. Catch your wisdom in this here episode.
Yes.
Okay? And pass some seeds
Yes.
and water some seeds while you're at it.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So we talked about legacy. We talked about, dealing with challenges and things like that. If you could leave advice to a woman
Mhm.
who may be struggling to bring her ideas to life or even struggling with the idea of legacy, you know, what advice would you give her?
To know what you want. I do believe that we say a lot of time, we say a lot what we actually, what we don't want, how we want to be seen versus what we actually want.
Mm,
I want someone to respect me. I want to be seen as this or that, because everybody has their own different thing versus what you really want, not what you want to be seen as, but who do you want to be, right? I think it's such a difference because you say, well, who do you want to be? Well, I want this and I want that, but who do you want to be? And I think that's where I would start. Where do you, and your value, right? How do you value yourself? I tell people I'm priceless. I was paid at a price that you can't afford, right? So you'll never be able to afford it. So I'm not for sale, right? And so what is your, so my worth is to, so what am I? So I'm able to receive and I'm able to give out, but I'm not able to be bought. So, who am I? What do I actually want? Not how I want to be treated. Who am I? Right? So I think that's, yeah. I, I hope that wasn't mysterious, but mysterious, but yeah,
going to
yeah,
church. About to go to
yeah.
church. Listen, who are you and whose are you is what you
Who's?
need to
Yeah.
be paying attention to, right? Because
Yeah.
if we move on who we think
Mhm.
we should be, we automatically gonna miss the mark,
Yeah.
right? You're focused on what's trending,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's not your calling. So,
Because your calling will never got a style.
and even if you think, oh, well, I'm successful in this, but the problem is when you're taking your last breath and you haven't
Mhm.
been walking in your purpose and your calling because of that void you've been feeling because you stay on trend,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
going to be too late then. It's not too
Too
late
late.
today,
Not today.
right? We're not promised to tomorrow, but it's not too late today.
Yes, it is.
Listen, who
Yeah.
are you? She said, who are you?
Who are you? Who are you first? Who are you?
Not what your Instagram profile say, honey love. Mm-mm,
Yeah.
not that. Not your nickname. Who are you?
That's your nickname. Not your nickname. Who are you?
Who are you in
Yeah.
real life?
I, in real life, I tell people story is a monkey with people fully dressed in the mirror brushing his teeth with the humans, right? And then they decided to let him go in the wild, and he hiding because he didn't want to go and hang out with the other monkeys. But but you've been acting out of character for so long to where you can't even act like what you're supposed to act like. So to me, everybody that's not acting like who they are is almost like the monkey. You're not a little boy. You're a monkey. And I know that might some who that's supposed to have gotten it got it.
They caught it.
They got
Somebody who's
it.
offended, she ain't calling you a monkey. It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
Amen. Don't nobody call me. I rebuke you. It was a metaphor, darling.
It
No.
was for who it was for who it is. Be you, because if you're you, that's what you need to be used as, right? You're the person you're supposed to be. You use the right tool for the right thing, and if God had made you for this, then that's what you need to be used as. Who are you? What are you? That's what I meant. So I
Yeah.
hope that cleared a little bit up. Yeah.
Listen, I even say it like this. What she's saying is take the mask off.
Well,
You wake up in the morning
and
before you even get
the
out the
costume
bed.
too.
You put the mask on before you even get out the bed. You don't even know you when you look in the mirror. So yes, that's why you like the monkey, putting on the uniform, brushing your teeth like you a whole person.
Like a whole
A
person.
whole person. You putting on a mask like you a whole
And the
somebody
whole
else.
suit. And the whole suit, the whole outfit,
The
the whole
whole
costume.
the whole ensemble. And then wonder why you struggling inside. Cause your inside is like, girl, come outside. Can the real you please stand up?
Can it Yeah. The world is calling roll calling. You never answer.
Cause you don't even know. You've been playing that role so long, you don't even know.
They calling the world calling your name. You're never there. You're never where you need to be when you need to be there. Yeah.
Cause you over
Yeah.
here playing TT and them.
Yeah. Yeah. Brushing your teeth with the humans. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it. Right.
Long story
That's
longer,
most definitely it.
just
I'm trying not to laugh, but you
nothing. They gonna get
something
this
else.
real, okay? I ain't listening. They gonna get us in the raw. That's I don't edit nothing. I add music to the beginning and the end. I don't edit nothing. They gonna get all of this. If I was scratching in my nose, they was gonna get that too. I'm not. We're not doing that. No, we're not. You gonna get this.
And this is what we need. This is
You
what
gonna
we
get the
need. It's
real and the
refresher.
raw, and that's what they get on the side note. Shameless plug. That's what they get on the conversationalist.
Oh yes, now that
Is it or is it not?
if you come by. If you come by, you're going to get the truth. We live our life out loud. So yeah, we do live, and you're going to hear it. You're
You
going to
gonna
hear
hear
it.
it.
Hopefully you take it.
You gonna hear it. And our prayer is that you receive it in love. Because that's all it is. It ain't
Yes.
nothing but love.
Yes.
It ain't
Yes. We
nothing but
tired of people
love.
being the problem. We want to snatch you out of problems. We're trying to steal you away from that negativity. That's what.
Listen, because we are all here for a reason. No,
Yeah.
we're not here to be kikiing and lollygagging around. Like that's really not why we're here. It's really not. Like, all jokes aside, that's really not why we're here, right? And
Yeah.
so you have people who you can connect with to help you figure that out. You got the
Yeah.
word. You got options.
Yeah.
I say use them all. Don't just pick one. Pick
Use
all
them
of them.
all.
Just use them all. Just right. Use the word. Use prayer. You know what I'm saying? Go to the altar.
Counseling,
Listen.
coaching,
Yes, all
training.
of it.
What?
Whatever, like all of it. Use all of it. Tap in. Tap in. So you can get in your position because you out of position,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Yes. Yes.
when I finally stepped into my position, I saw the difference.
Yes.
I
Yes.
stopped letting doubt and discouragement and fear of and my past. I
Mhm.
stopped
All right.
allowing that to keep me
Mhm.
from my purpose. Now, don't get me wrong, it be creeping up. It definitely
Oh
still
yeah.
try to creep up, but I gotta remember, to her point, who am I?
Yes.
So that at the end of the day, I know I'm supposed to be doing this. I can't let all of that be an excuse for me. It can't be an
Mhm.
excuse. And we have to stop using life situations and distractions and discouragement as an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's really not. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
You not.
And if you find yourself in that, you have to get somebody else to help you, right? When you realize to yourself, look, I don't have what it takes to stop me from being me. The old me is interfering with the new me I'm supposed to be. And that's when you call in reinforcements.
Amen.
Like she said, you use all the tools. That's when you call in your coaches. That's when you call in your counselors. When you call in somebody that can help you. I had this. I don't want to hold you, but I had this dream where the boxer was boxing and the coach from the side was telling him, you know, block, put your arms up, put your hands up. He's pretty much coaching him through it, where he's giving him all of the things he's doing wrong. It pans over to a girl doing gymnastics. He's like, "You're not landing that landing right." He's telling her everything she's doing wrong. Then it pans over to someone swimming, and then he's on the outside telling him everything he's doing wrong. And then at the end of the vision, you went to, and all of them had a gold medal, right? And they all won because they were pointing out the things that they were doing wrong, not to hurt them, but in order that they can attack what they're doing wrong so that they were left with more right. If the wrong things are preventing you from winning, then you need somebody on the outside to tell you what's wrong so they can eliminate that. You're only sometime as great as your weakest point. And if it's somebody that's helping you remove your weakest points, that's making you greater. But it's the offense and us being offended
Mm,
that I think keeps us from growing.
mm, mm. Offense. That
That stops us from being empowered. That stops us from being empowered. It's the the
you hurt my feelings.
what is that?
And I'm not in a place to receive what you're saying to me, so I can't work with you anymore because I didn't like what you said. And then 6 months later, I'm gonna call you back because I realized I knew you were right the entire time. I just wasn't in a place to start doing the work. And I know you see me better than I see myself because I'm too busy with the
Mm,
mask on. So I can't
mm,
see, right? Like you said, the
mm-hmm,
gymnast, she just knows she's not landing, but she doesn't know
mm-hmm.
what she's doing wrong for the landing to be off. She just knows she's not landing right. So
Yeah.
her coach,
Mm-hmm.
right, is like, well, that's because when you flip, you're not bringing your body all the way around. That's why you're not landing right, right? Oh, the
Yes.
aha
Yes.
moment
Yes.
comes, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
always in love. So you have to remove your feelings because
Mm-hmm.
feelings are fickle. Feelings will keep you in
Oh
a
my.
box. Feelings will
Mm-hmm.
keep you from moving forward. If you move
Yes.
your feelings out of the way and see it, and something that I saw not too long ago, I can't remember who it was, and if I find it, I'm gonna give credit to it, but I know it was something I saw on Instagram. We have to remember to stop focusing on a delivery and remember who the deliverer is. So if I'm
Oh, come
coming to you
on.
in the first place, that means that I am
Mm-hmm.
trusting you to help guide me in the right direction. So if you say something to me that offends me, right? I have to remember, but the deliverer, Tasha, who I am
Mm-hmm.
entrusting with guiding me to my future, I'm
Mm-hmm.
trusting her so she means me well. So then
Yes.
I need to
Yes.
take my feelings out of what she said to me and
Mm-hmm.
dissect what she said and not how she
Come
said
on.
it that hurt my feelings. Because what she said was still true, but my feelings won't allow me to see it that way. And your feelings is gonna
Mhm.
keep you stuck.
They will. They will.
Yep. Your
Yeah.
feelings will keep you
Yeah.
stuck.
Because you want it done your way, but if your way worked, uh-huh. If your way had worked,
Mm,
then it would have
you
worked.
wouldn't be.
It seems like common sense, but then we know sense is not as common as we think. But
Hmm.
sometimes somebody has to speak louder than your voice in your head.
Yep.
Sometimes somebody has to be more forceful because your voice has been so loud for so many years. We're not only coming up against your procrastination, but we're also coming up against your mind. We're coming up against your habits,
Hmm.
right? We're coming up against your schedule. So when you're coming to a coach or you come to somebody that's trying to help you, they're coming up against everything that you came up against.
Yep.
And you're more familiar with it than they are. So they're not going to take the same route you took because it didn't work for you.
Hmm.
You just have to have, like you said, the trust that they can see things that you can't. Somebody has to have your 9 and your 6. Sometimes somebody has to, you know what I'm saying? Somebody has to have that so that they can see things that you can't. And so I think that like we saying, offense, man. And that's the only thing. If you can understand, look, this is what's going to help me. Why do I feel this way to begin with? And is it something that you need to unpack? Is this something that you need to add to the list?
Yep.
That I'm easily offended? Do we need to tackle that first?
Hmm.
You know, speak up for yourself. Say, well, I don't know if I'm feeling this type of way because you actually said it like this, or I'm feeling this type of way because I have some insecurities.
Yep.
Don't allow it to haunt you. Some people offended and they'll take it with them for 2 weeks. Why?
It won't say a
If
word.
it happens, they won't say a word. And the whole time it can be something that was not even understood correctly. So for 2 weeks you've been carrying this backpack with this bricks in it. Deal with that situation that day. If you felt offended and it's the person that you're supposed to entrust with how your life is going to go in the next couple of years, tell them, look, this might be a problem that's holding me back, this offense. Every
Mhm.
time you say this or this, I feel offended. Maybe this is a problem. Let's go over that for the next time, right? So maybe you need to, and if that's the problem, maybe you need to, he said, use all the tools.
Oh,
Maybe you need to get a counselor and a coach.
yep.
maybe, maybe it's two different things. Maybe you need all the tools to make sure you're successful. But I don't want to hold it up because I am the conversationalist, so it's not my show.
Man,
It's not my show. Yeah.
you know, Grandma, we can go all day. Listen, you the conversationalist, and my audience know I'm long-winded, so it's okay. No, but it has been such a joy having you on. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak life into my audience. Listen, y'all, listen. Do not forget to check out the conversationalist on Facebook Wednesdays and Sundays, 6:30 p.m. Central on Facebook. Hey, make sure you check out below. I got all that info, so ain't no excuses. I ain't gonna keep it. I ain't gonna hold it in. I want to share the love because it is an amazing platform. You can learn from it. You can ask questions on it. You can, oh my gosh, like listen, tap in, be a part of that community. Again, thank you, Tasha, so much. I loved having you here. I'm definitely gonna have to have you circle back around because we could do a round two.
Yes,
What?
of course, of course,
We
of
can
course.
talk for hours. Do you hear me? For hours. I know because we've done it. Anyway, I love you all. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. If you enjoyed this episode, if you got any nuggets from it at all, be sure to share, like, subscribe, leave a comment, question. You have questions for Tasha, send them to me and I'll make sure she circle back around. Like, just, you know what I'm saying? Let me know what it is. And we are here for you. Again, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in to Shana Speaks Life, where every day is a good day to live your best life.